Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you all according to your time and locations. You'll be watching this video. Yes, my dear viewers, I am back again with another update. So guys, I have a video here I would like we all to watch. But before then, if you're meeting my channel for the very first time, you're highly welcome. Please kindly do well to like, share, and subscribe. Leave your thought on the comment section. Let us know what you think about this video, and I will see you towards the end.
Again, what's trending with reactions trailing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's request to the National Assembly for the approval of 500 billion naira in order to allow the federal government to provide palliatives and to cushion the effects of petrol subsidy removal on Nigerians. While Tinubu's request was contained in a letter sent to the National Assembly, the president said in the letter that the money will be sourced from the 2022 Supplementary Appropriation Act of 819.5 billion naira. Well, on Thursday, the president appealed for more patience from Nigerians during a meeting with 18 governors who were his colleagues in the class of 1999 and promised that the government will increase its efforts and speed up the resources to ensure a foolproof social security structure that will not be compromised, especially through the cash transfer scheme.
I understand people are suffering. Yes, there can be no childbirth without the pain. To benefit the largest number of people in the country and not a few smugglers and exploiters, the palliative is coming. I'm doing the arithmetic. I don't want people the cash transfers to fall into wrong hands. So please, help persuade them.
Well, all right, let's take some reactions. This is from Dozier, who wrote, $800 billion collected as palliative to cushion the effect of fuel subsidy removal by the Buhari government. 400 billion naira saved as a result of removing subsidy. And now, 500 billion naira requested by Tinubu for subsidy palliative. This palliative. Well, Tam wrote, in a country where there are no accurate personal data, how are they going to distribute these palliatives? It's very hard to believe given the fact that the same APC government hoarded COVID-19 palliatives from the people and planned to use them to induce electoral favors. Obviously, you know that is accurate. I mean, people talked about the COVID-19 palliatives that were hoarded, and I believe, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had kind of given a signal that it will probably be through the cash transfer scheme, and people are obviously skeptical about that. I'll take another reaction from the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. Because they have kicked against the 500 billion naira subsidy relief request. They stated that it is grossly inadequate to assuage the hardship confronting workers sequel to the petrol subsidy removal. The NLC is demanding a 300% salary increase to enable workers to cope with the challenges imposed by the deteriorating economic situation that came with the removal. Obviously, you know that NLC had asked for that 300% increase in salary for workers. And I think, that's a good start that, could help. People are not convinced that this cash transfer scheme would work.
Yes. All right, so talking about the cash transfer scheme, the truth is that the process that the government is taking is not its normal process. They have to evaluate, they have to ensure, as the president had mentioned, that the cash transfer would go to the intended as opposed to the wrong hands. Of course, we have talked about the fact that the big challenge with the process is that it's happening post the announcement. This process in a proper way ought to have been done before. Then perhaps people would have had enough time to prepare for the shocks. But this is the reality, and this is where we found ourselves. People have not had the opportunity to prepare, and people were thrown into, poverty. Things went up by over 300% following the removal of subsidy on May 29. What we are calling for in terms of palliatives and the evaluation, because the president didn't give the details, are certain areas he must look into.
Absolutely.
The basic need of any man is food, shelter, housing, water, especially in a country like Nigeria. And what people have said is that they are not able to afford to eat. The food inflation reality in Nigeria shows that people have cut down and people have been thrown into poverty. Unfortunately, we don't have the exact numbers yet, but I'm hoping that the NBS would release just how much, the removal of subsidy has affected Nigerians. Beyond that, the tweets you read also demonstrate the trust deficit with regards to policies or announcements by government, because in the past it hasn't been well handled. So truthfully, we are watching the president to see how well he would manage this process, so that this issue, and I put this in air quotes, of the National Social Register, which has come under a lot of criticism in terms of how did they arrive at the numbers, who are the people who got these the previous cash transfers, what would be the conditions of these cash transfers, how would they measure the success of this program. These issues will not be repeated in this administration. So yes, they're having conversations, palliatives are necessary, but when would it happen? Number one. Number two, how would it be? And number three, would it just be cash transfers? Because we're also looking at infrastructure.
Yes.
It's not enough to give people 5,000. I don't know how far that's going to go in terms of giving households 5,000. What else is going to be there? Small businesses. We need to look at those areas, and these are the conversations we hope that will be had.
You raised a very valid point. We're looking at different areas. I believe I heard you talk about the modular refineries have to be working, and all of that, the hospitals, but also the state governments. What are they doing? I know that the Rivers State Governor, Simi Fubara, unveiled free buses on Wednesday to help cushion the effect of the subsidy removal. I mean, look at that. Those are the buses there. And also on July 4th, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum unveiled 80 luxurious buses and pickup vans to farmers to reduce the high cost of living. Absolutely amazing by those two state governors. I think that is a great way to go, because really it is just the way to help with the transportation to start with. Rufai.
I mean, so it has to be a potpourri of measures. It can't just be one. And obviously, I don't want to think that 500 billion the president is requesting from the House of Assembly is the only palliative for the House of Representatives. I think there has to be a potpourri of many things. Apart from food, like I said, we can also reduce staple food, rice. I talked about beans, I talked about the tubers, I talked about tomato, I talked about modular refineries, also talked about understanding an energy mix, use of CNG and things like that, and ensure that we also ramp up local production, so at least we can hedge against cost of importation and all of that. So that's one. Another part to it is give soft loan to businesses, businesses, so that, I mean, there are many schemes in the past like UN and the likes. There's also currently a loan being reviewed. It's about, I think, the Development Bank of Nigeria loan for a couple of, the G6 geopolitical zones. That's another one. Also, the over 800 million that has been put forward by World Bank and all of that money. But I think the greatest form of subsidy is economic productivity. We are joking in Nigeria. We are not there yet. You took a story that shocked me, that says in severance package, Twitter employees that were sacked were asking for $500 million. And that thing jolted me. Do you know the size of the American economy, that employees of a company can ask for $500 million in severance package? If you give that money to Nigeria now, as a country, Nigeria will lap it up, will love it. But that's just one company. And that's the size of economy we need to grow. Recently, Apple became a 3 trillion market capitalization company. Africa, with over 1.4 billion people, the GDP of Africa is $3.16 trillion. Market capitalization of Apple is $3 trillion. Africa has a long way to go. And that's why we need to develop our economy within, because economic growth with all this palliative put in place is what will really bring people out of poverty. And we have not grown and we have not done so well in a while. So I look forward to the day Nigeria will have year-on-year double-digit growth, be able to bring people truly out of poverty. Because if we do that, then all the economic problems will be greatly reduced. It's not that we're not still going to have some of them, but it will be greatly reduced. But just imagine that. Just let that ring in your head. A company, one company, wants to pay, they are charging the founder of the company to court to pay several people $500 million. Wow. Wow.
Dr. Avati.
Okay, a number of issues here. Let's identify the issues specifically. President Tinubu has written a letter to the National Assembly saying he wants an extraction of 500 billion naira from the 2022 Appropriation Act. In the 2022 Appropriation Act, the provision for palliatives is 819.56 billion. So there is already an appropriation in place. Now he's asking for permission to extract that to provide palliatives for Nigerians, in line with his promise to the class of 99 governors, his classmates, who met with him, and he told them, well, he knows that people are feeling the pinch because you can't have childbirth without pain. Well, we have two women here. You people can attest to that. What happens in the process of childbirth?
Yeah, it is painful, but it turns out beautiful at the
end. But you see, the way it works is that even when there is pain, 2-3 months later, the pain disappears. The woman is pregnant again. But what we expect, what we
I knew it was going there.
No.
I knew it was going there.
What the president is just saying that even when you have that pain, you know, in a matter of time, palliatives will, you know, ease that. Now, one of the concerns that has been expressed is that we have been told that over 400 billion has been saved as a result of, you know, fuel subsidy removal. We've been told that the IMF has promised $800 million. I don't know whether, you know, we have received the money yet, because somebody was saying Buhari administration collected $800 million. I'm not sure that money has been released. Then the World Bank is $500 million. That's at the level of board approval. So it's not as if anybody has collected any money. So what the federal government is now trying to do under Tinubu is to put all of this together and provide palliatives. Now, my main concern is what will be the nature of the palliatives. There's not been enough clarity in terms of thinking, in terms of what they want to put on the table. And it's good that the president referred to conditional cash transfer, which is a veiled criticism of what was done under President Buhari, because the conditional cash transfer that the Buhari administration said, you know, they did, people are still arguing about it. Who collected the money? Who is on that social register? And, you know, all kinds of meanings, including ethnicity and religion, were read into that proposal. So this time around, one of the things that President Tinubu needs to put on the table is clarity. It's not about the money. People keep talking about the money. What exactly, you know, is the government going to do? And in that regard, you cited the example of Borno State, where the governor is providing luxurious buses to take farmers going to farm in air-conditioned
I love it.
luxurious buses.
I think it's so amazing.
Okay, while that speaks to, you know, Governor Zulum's attempt to further address the crisis of banditry and terrorism in that part of the country, the question is, farmers need more than luxurious buses.
Well, they are the trucks.
They are going to get trucks.
They
are hiring trucks. Exactly. I know. 50 luxurious buses from Borno Express, 30 trucks from you know, contractors that will be hired. But they need more than luxury vehicles to take them to the farm. They need security too. And he made a point that the farmers should cooperate with the soldiers. Now, these soldiers, are they going to stay with them on the farms? Because we have had stories of farmers not being able to go to the farms because they are attacked by bandits. So the larger challenge is to address the challenge of terrorism, of banditry, so that a farmer can feel safe, as our grandfathers, great-grandfathers, you know, felt, to go to the farm. Some of them had camps in the farm. These days now, if you are a farmer in Borno State, you dare not go and sleep there. So this is the problem, because there's a connection with food supply. In what state is that? Rivers. The governor of Rivers says he has provided buses. The head of service of Rivers State was, you know, so exorbitant. He was saying, oh, this will help civil servants. Civil servants can now, have some palliatives in terms of transportation. Please tell the governor of Rivers State that I hope he will make it clear to the head of service that these buses should not be only for civil servants, because they are the ones who are going to manage it anyway. So they should allow other people in Rivers State to benefit from whatever this offers. But at the end of the day,